In this tale, Roger Nelson, an astronaut, finds a strange ball on a planet that has never been visited, proving that there are other intelligent species out there. Nelson meets NASA Mission Control at the start of the story, who tells him they are installing an artificial intelligence plugin. Roger is told that in a year and a half, he will awaken on Titan, Saturn's largest moon. Roger is told by NASA project manager Gerald Becker at a briefing that the signals are manufactured because of a radio anomaly that has been found. Titan sent out the initial signal, followed by Triton, Neptune's moon, and Eris, a minor planet. In order to find out why Earth is suddenly receiving signals from other areas of the solar system, NASA is preparing to launch Roger into orbit. Nelson has to choose whether to leave his wife and spend 10 years in space, even though he is aware of the significance of the mission and his part in it. Roger vows to assist him through the difficult decision and to be there for him at the end. He is still prepared for any test. The greatest discovery in human history is this endeavor. After spending 18 months in a special capsule, Starship Commander Roger awakens to find himself greeted by an artificial intelligence named Ferdinand. He finds out that the spacecraft is gathering information from the reconnaissance probe and that it will traverse Saturn's planetary orbit in 2 days. NASA sends Roger 229 crucial signals, one of which is a video that Abigail sent. China still intends to launch, but it has postponed it. They will reach Titan's orbit in 10 minutes. Data from the reconnaissance probe is sent to Roger, indicating that one of Titan's methane lakes is the source of the enigmatic signal. To reach Neptune's approach window, Captain Nelson needs to land in the glaciers and locate the space transmitter in 6 hours. Roger is commended by Becker for approaching Titan, and he is reminded of the significance of locating the source. Nelson looks for the transmitter while launching a hose into the lake to gather samples. Roger discovers a tiny glass ball in the lake of liquid methane as a storm approaches. The methane evaporation rate is too great, therefore Neil tells Roger to return to the ship as soon as possible. Nelson touches the space transmitter, violating protocol, and the radio communication briefly stops. After the storm passes, it's time to take off, and in order to make it to Neptune's window, the commander heads back to Magellan. Scientist Nelson uses a gravitational slingshot to find a mystery spherical on Neptune. Officer Becker responds to his message from Mission Control, congratulating him on the discovery. Nelson makes the decision to repeat the experiment and record a new one. As Roger studies methane samples from the lake, he discovers amino acids in the water, suggesting the presence of life on the planet. Roger gets a communication from Abigail over time alerting her to a Chinese hacker who is trying to obtain mission-related data. Nelson advises Abigail to persevere and hope for the best as the Secretary of Defense threatens to expel her from the center. When Roger awakens after 32 months, the reconnaissance probe is unable to gather information from Triton, thus they must look for the signal source only on Triton. Roger has inexplicable visuals as Ferdinand notices irregularities in the discovered sphere. Nelson finds out that hacking and meddling in Ferdinand's work could have been the cause of the probe's malfunction. Roger needs to locate the second transmitter as soon as Triton enters its orbit in order to not lose sight of the window to Eris. At 50 meters below the surface, he locates another sphere and searches for others before departing. Roger is told by the Secretary of Defense that citizens are not allowed to send messages to the astronaut, only he will be able to do so. Before continuing the trip, the minister gives Roger instructions to wipe his memory and verify the security systems. Roger confirms the existence of life in space by finding DNA in a specimen discovered on Eris. He assumes command of the ship and reports the discovery to Commander Nelson. The control center is still awaiting an answer 4 hours later. As Roger puts the 3 spheres together, he sees odd images that are cut off by a loud noise. The signals are a never-ending stream of radio transmissions from different sources that are sent to the onboard communication system via the spheres. Ferdinand speculates that these signals might reveal the age of the universe to the precise second. Roger proposes that the aliens are transmitting communications via radio waves by means of quantum entanglement. It takes 38 years for another signal to arrive from the Oort cloud. Commander Nelson understands that in order to learn the truth about extraterrestrial life, he must continue the space mission and cannot turn back. Roger sends Abigail a note pleading with her to pardon him for the years of waiting. The Department of Defense and NASA disagree with his order for Ferdinand to set the signal's route toward the Oort cloud. Roger prepares to embark on a new mission, but Becker orders that control of the Magellan be returned to the center.